Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co., and today I'm doing an unboxing and rambling for Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. Coffee shot as usual. Before we go further over here, we got my iced coffee, we got my knife over here, not the usual knife I use, but one that was gifted to me by a friend of the channel who stopped by, visited, played some games, and then I got this in the mail a few days later. But my other knife is currently confiscated by TSA. I got some tape on the knife, which is why I'm picking at it. My other knife is currently confiscated by TSA because for the third time now, I've decided that it would be a good idea to go through TSA with a knife in my pocket. Now, to be fair, each time I've done so, I've caught it myself and offered to them as tribute, as opposed to having them have to pull me off to the side. So that does happen, but I just need to remember to take knives out of my pockets before I go through TSA. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. If you are new here, this is an unboxing and rambling. That means I will be going through the game. I will be talking about Earth Under Siege Flashpoint to whatever degree it comes up or is relevant, or based on my recollections of the experience. I have played through this game before doing the prototype phase, although this is the first time I have the final copy in front of me. But also, it's a rambling as well. I will talk about whatever happens to come up, which may be entirely 100% of the game. It may have nothing to do with the game. If you're looking for a how to play or a detailed overview, you're not going to get that right now. You're just going to get whatever thoughts cross my mind, some conversation about my experience with the game, because I have played it, and then my hopes and thoughts about campaign games, one-shot. This has one-shot modes, which is very important to me. We're going to get to that soon, but we'll dive into it. But if you're new here, welcome aboard. Thanks for sticking around, and let's go ahead and check out this monster of a box. So, this is one of those boxes like the Witcher box. If you've played The Witcher, it has those like two lids. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, I think it's actually exactly like The Witcher then. We have basically this box over here, but as we pull this up over here, this is an entirely separate self-contained box that then becomes the lid for this box in an interesting way. So, again, this is not new to you if you've backed The Witcher. It's a box on top of another box that is the lid for the first box, or the whole box, however you want to phrase that. We're going to dive into all this. Let's see what's in each box. We got miniatures in this box, it looks like. Let's see exclusively what we got, because if there are just miniatures, we'll just come back to this box. This is just the miniatures box. We're going to come back to this at the end, because we tend to do miniatures last in these unboxing and ramblings. I don't know why that is necessarily. Maybe it's saved the best for last. And it's not necessarily the best per se, but it usually is the most visually interesting, I guess, like the minis. Like, you know, as opposed to these tokens over here. I don't know how much time you want me spending on the tokens, although I usually do open this and just rattle through it. So let's take a look at that and see what we got. So, Earth Under Siege Flashpoint is a stealth-based campaign and solo game. I don't remember the full plot of everything, but you're on a spaceship, I think, vaguely. It's like a spaceship or a space station, that kind of vibe. I know more of the vibe than the actual reality of the game, but you're going to have various enemies, like very almost Nazi-like enemies. Like, it almost does feel like that kind of like World War II element, just with a a fictional kind of narrative to it as opposed to an actual one. We got token trays over here. We're just going to show you briefly what we got. Tokens seem fine. Punchboard wise, they got, like, you know, I usually say there's 3 general qualities for punchboard, and there's more than 3. Everything comes in like millimeters and millimeters and millimeters. But from a buyer, from a player, from a gamer's perspective, for me personally, there's cheap feeling, normal feeling, and what's the right word for it? Not crunchy. What's a good word for hefty? Chunky. There's cheap, normal, and chunky. Those are the 3 levels, and this would be normal. That's actually arguably normal plus, which directly undermines my my 3 levels of tokens over here, because I'm already immediately giving you another level of normal plus. But it does feel like a drop more than normal, possibly. Again, I don't actually know millimeter thickness on these things. I'm just going by my own. Whoa, this is a... Okay, there's 2 rulebooks. I picked this up, and this was a chonky rulebook. Speaking of chonky, that's where the chonky shows up. We have some tile boards. Ooh, let's do these. Let's do the rulebooks soon. Let's go through all the various punch boards and tile boards and all these things. So it can be, you know, various locations, and you have your ship, and, you know, you can start designing a map in some way or another as you start trying to, like, create the various walkways and all these things that are going to go on in the game. But you are basically dealing with maps like this, which maybe we'll come back to this. You know what? No, I'm going to keep going, because we got our, I don't know if I'm showing you that at all, but we got a whole bunch more of these various, you know, just zones. All these zones and things in the game, you know, double-sided, various tiles. We're going to have more of them coming out, though, because we got, oh boy, we have so many tiles. We got so many tiles. We're going to have to go through some of these, because there are, well, so many tiles. But in general, in the game, you are controlling a squad. Now, you can control full characters. They also have, I don't know the term for them, but every game has their own term for, like, companion-like characters, which are basically characters that are easier to control than a full character. But this game is going to have, ooh, I got a laser room. We got a little laser room. This game is going to have that kind of situation. Let's go through all these on the one side and then the other side. These are just, like, starting places or something like that. I don't know if the SP is. I don't remember. I don't remember if it's a starting zone or not. But either way, But we got the bathrooms over here, single stall bathroom. That's nice. That's a degree of luxury that I would envy on any space station. The lasers, not as much. We have our 2x2 tiles over here. So again, we'll go through them in two different ways just for the art of them all. But yeah, you're basically on a spaceship controlling a squad, either fully or controlling your companion characters, because you can play this solo as well. And then you're dealing with the various enemies along the way, as far as, you know, the ones that are going to show up. They can be spawning frequently, and you have your own specific goals you're trying to accomplish. To that end, you want to stay as stealthy as possible and stay as unviewed, invisible, unfound as possible throughout the course of the game, until you eventually get to a point where you are going to need to be seen. But hopefully that point comes as late as possible, and you're able to accomplish as much as you possibly can before that moment in time happens in the game. We have our corridors. These look pretty boring, pretty straightforward. Not, I mean, the art's fine, but just as far as the differences between them, these look far more standard than the other ones. And we have probably similar over here, which I don't think I went through these heavily. We'll just go through each of these in turn. And again, just giving you a visual sense, that's a different tile. We're going to have these over here. And done. This one looks like it's very much exit or enter, plain and simple. Nothing on the other side, which I do find intriguing, considering how everything else is printed on the other side. I do find it interesting to have one tile that is printed only on one side. Not necessarily a bad choice. Now, this is the part, if you watch my Elder Scrolls unboxing, this is the part where I'm like, did I miss a note? Did I miss a note on the game? I don't think I did, but if I did, I apologize. Where's my knife? Here's my knife. Anyways, so that's the basic idea of the game. It's a stealth-based operation, and then it has a campaign mode and a single-shot mode. Now, the single-shot mode is very important to me because I was going to say V Sabotage, but really Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is an excellent game. I'm just going to show you some cards over here. Assassin's Creed is an excellent game that at the back side is a specialist, staff doctor. Back again, HQ phase, players add +1 to the med bay roll. So it's got some characters, some more cards over here. But Assassin's Creed is a game that I absolutely love, but the fact that it's campaign-based means I'm always going to play it less than I want to play it. We have our Wehrmacht Heavy Blaster. Like, even the name Wehrmacht, again, that does sound a little... I don't know if it's actually based on anything, but it sounds a little like very Nazi-ish or whatnot. So the enemies are kind of, what's the word? Weird Wars, The World War. The Weird Wars is just called Weird Wars. Like when you have the zombie-ish Nazification of things. This has a kind of zombie-ish Nazification kind of thing just in space. But anyways, the Wehrmacht Heavy Blaster, the medical kit, we have the neural inhibitor, we have the plasma burst rifle, all the usual stats over here, you know, the range, the damage, the noise it makes, all those kinds of situations. A Stalker Blade. This makes no noise, which makes it very, very helpful. Use when entering an unaware or stunned enemy zone to make an attack for free. So you can hopefully take someone out without them ever realizing. That's going to be some basic cards over here. Where did this even come from? That's the problem. I have this out here because I had it out, but I don't know where these things came from. We got more cards to go through. Will I go through all the cards? I'll open up some more cards. We have giant stacks of cards here. I'm always nervous as far as cards go, what to take out and what not to take out. Let me go through these cards first because I'm trying to put this back as I go so I don't lose track of the order of things. Because I got all this stuff, but I also got like a whole bunch of side boxes to go through. And I do wonder how it all goes together. I'll admit I'm a little worried right now as far as how easy this is going to be to get into one box. We'll show you more soon. Anyways, we have our Vector Squad abilities, Arcane Squad abilities, Luna Squad, all these different, you know, just player aid cards over here. We have the general player round, the round of play, the general sequence and whatnot, as well as the player actions on the other side. And then we have the various cards. These are the enemies you're going to be facing off. The enemy cards that will show you. They're going to be lined up on the board, so you can see like a whole row of them next to you that are going to be the enemies you're dealing with in any single game. We have the Mind Killer. This guy's on the cover, I believe, but he's one of those like kind of zombie-ish kind of adjacent guys. The Gate Shaper as well. Honestly, they're all a little dark and intense in their own ways. And then we have like the Warbringer, your general unit, your Headhunter, your war leader, and then we have these over here, the Enslavers, the Dominator, the Splotter Drones, the Stalkers, the Wehrmacht Fire Team, the Reaver, the Wehrmacht Heavy, the Ravagers, the Wehrmacht Grunt. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, tell me that's not a little bit World War II inspired. It's got like that vibe to it, even if it is in space on a space station, or is it on a space station? I'm not actually sure if it is or isn't on a space station in any real sense. It just gets that vibe. It has a space station vibe, the slightly futuristic base kind of vibes. I mean, I don't know what futuristic base vibes are, but it has those vibes. We're going to put these all back over here. We're going to cover that. You know what? The dice can probably go there. See, I'm looking over here. I'll show you what I'm thinking as I go. So right now, we have this little tray over here, which could be used for tokens. I wonder if it could be used for dice. It's a little shallow for dice, so we're not going to use it for dice. It might be for tokens, but for right now, we're just going to start putting some things back. So these are going to go in there, which is where they came from. This is going to go there, which is where that came from. The singles went there. And then we had the these go on top of here, which you can't see as well. I'm trying to find all the tiles. These were a whole different vibe. So let's take these out of play and then put these back over here. So we had, again, these going in there. I believe we were able to put this on top. No, I don't think they were. I don't think so. I think these all went on top, which we'll come back to in a second. But for right now, we're going to open these, and maybe we'll open some of these as well, show you some more of the cards before we go back to anything else. So, going back to what I was saying, what was it saying? Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is an excellent game that I don't know. I refuse to get rid of it. I just refuse to get rid of it right now. But I probably should get rid of it at some point because I love the game, but it's a campaign game, and I don't know when I'm going to sign back up for the campaign experience. Although I do have the new Assassin's Creed right now, I should be playing that soon, hopefully. It's like I'm diving into Assassin's Creed 2 rather than going back to Assassin's Creed 1. And that's a good reason to have the original game, because you need the components from the original game. So we have more elements over here: combat stimulants, the ferret light sniper rifle, med kit, the Cerberus multi-taser, again, just more cards, ammo bandolier, Shadow Black Op assault rifle, the Eviscerator blade. That looks intense over here. Anyways, and then down here we have more specialists, I believe. We have the technician, the code breaker, the drill sergeant, and the force recon, target sighted. Just before beginning the mission, look at the top 2 cards of each spawn deck, then place them back in any order, then do the same for the threat deck. It gives you a nice little heads up for the start of the game, which is, I guess, nice. These cards are going to go in there, which I hope is the right place for them, but we'll find out later. All right, we're going to look through these over here. These are going to be some of your action cards. If, like, I assume other things too, but I don't know everything in this deck section here. We're just going to open it up, and I hope we don't mess up the order too much over here. Let's just go ahead and go through this. But I'm trying to think, what other stealth-based games are there? So there's Assassin's Creed, there's V Commando, V Sabotage, there's Earth Under Siege Flashpoint, there's Stalker. Stalker definitely has stealth-based elements, Stalker from Wicked Realms. Did I just cut a card? I may have just cut into a card. Let me see how bad the damage is. I was a little too aggressive in my cutting. Let me just see. There's one card here. I nicked the edge. I think it's just fine. It's fine. It's maybe fine. What is it? Like, it's almost like I cut into the fabric of the card itself. It's a little bit... I don't want to do this too much right now, but... I don't know. Either way, it looks fine for now. So, what do we have over here? We have... There's other stealth-based games I'm trying to remember. I have the new one, SAS, which I think is stealth-based. Very V Commandos. I haven't done anything with it. I should probably unbox it, honestly. SAS, Rogue Regiment or something like that. I want to check that one out. I was very interested in that crowdfunding campaign. I backed that one, and I'm excited for it. But also, I need to play these things. So we have action cards over here. Movement, perform a move action. You automatically disengage the enemies doing this movement over here. We have, I don't know, always ready. Kill them all. Play before making a ranged attack to gain an area effect and deal +1 damage. Search your deck for a reaction attack card that can be played during this attack and play it. So all cards have a top and bottom effect. There's going to be some degree of deck building or building out your characters as you go through the game. And again, campaign and single shot modes both available, so you can grow and develop your characters as you go. Or alternatively, you can just play a single shot with however that mode works. I don't know much about the way it's set up or if they have different levels or things like that. Like I know Primal will have different level builds. So you have level builds for different degrees of encounters. Anyways, we have Unknown Threat, Empower Threat. We got all these cards over here. Defensive systems and whatever these are. Events, I guess, in some sense. Escalated quickly. Concession injuries. We have traumas. And we have more action cards. So I'm going to try to hope that I have this in some sense of Marissa. There we go. And then this goes for Billy, which there we go. Great. That's able to track. Basically, from the bottom of the cards, they have their names on the bottom, so it's able to track which one goes next. So that's Kyle. More and more Kyle. And then stack those decks in the right order, which is helpful, because one of the reasons I always hesitate to go into cards when I'm doing an unboxing is I'm a drop under pressure when I'm filming these to, like, cover the next thing and open the next box and do that. And going through a whole bunch of cards, like I remember Board Game Coffee, fantastic channel, you should check them out. But Board Game Coffee one time was in this situation. Is this how this went back in? I feel like it is, but I'm not sure. One time he had a situation where he what did he do? He unboxed Ether Fields, but he hadn't properly done whatever he needed to do. So what he ended up doing is he unboxed Ether Fields, and all the cards were in chaos order when he was done. And that is not a game that you want to do that to. That is not a game where chaos order for the cards is a good way to go into things. And he regretted it very, 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 very much. And I've been very mindful to not have a situation where I mix together 17 open packs of cards without realizing the order. This is good coffee. Anyways, this little vanilla caramel, it's a latte with espresso from a Breville and a little bit of milk, a little bit of coffee. The coffee brand is actually, I believe, is like a Highland grog. Is that what it is? I think it's a Highland grog. A viewer actually sent it to me. The coffee beans. So I need to get back and tell them it's pretty good. And it's with a caramel and vanilla creamer from Coffee Mate. And that is why I'm not a coffee snob. I'm a little bit of a coffee snob, but only like a little bit, because I have Coffee Mate creamer and I don't really care too much about which beans go into the coffee. But I do like my lattes and I do like my machine. Anyways, we have our rulebook over here. Looks like it's 48 pages, but the question is always how difficult does it actually look to go through? Because I remember this one had a lot of stuff going on. I know they've made a lot of changes to some of the rules in general, to the rule book, hopefully making it a little easier to dive into. This looks pretty straightforward as far as rounds of play. The setup looks pretty straightforward, nothing crazy over here. And then over here we have concepts. So now this is where we get to see just how quickly things seem to pick up versus how quickly things get overwhelming, because we're getting several pages in. The rules do look pretty clear overall. Like, this does not look like a hard read, but a lack of a hard read doesn't mean there's not a lot to go through. Operative phase, like I'm hoping to get to a page soon where it's like, great, start the game, but that might not happen right now. It looks like it's definitely going to be a little longer in that sense. We got suffering damage, so there's a lot you have to go through. It does look very well written. It does look very illustrations, clear examples. That's what it seems to be so far. Actually, I said clear examples, and I don't know if I actually saw. Here we go, like clear examples. Okay, there we go. But clear without me actually having read them, so take that with a grain of salt. End of the round, additional rules. Yeah, it looks like you may have to go through all of the 48 pages of rules in this one, that's a slight barrier to entry over here. We get to page 46. So there's definitely a lot going on to go through. They got an index, which is nice. But yeah, I'm not sure how difficult that will be to actually set up a table and whatnot. I have to read it again, because while I have played this game several times, I don't know, I think I played it like 4 times, something like that. But I'm trying to remember, I had an initial TTS play. I played it as a live play on camera, so that's 2 right there. But then I played it a few times myself. No, I think I played it 5 times. This is rough recollection only. But if I recall correctly, there were 3 missions to go through. This is rough recollection. I believe there were 3 missions in the prototype, and I played it beforehand on TTS, and then after the 3 missions, I also got an in-person play in as well. But I think the 3 missions were off-camera plays. So I think 5 plays of this game. So I know what I'm doing. It's just been a very long time since I played it. Earth under siege. Things weren't going well on Earth to begin here. That sounds like a space station. We got the Xethan, who are basically like, semi-Nazi. But the Wehrmacht are clearly assisting the Xethan with their military intelligence. Yeah, I know. The terrorists known as the Wehrmacht. Okay, so there's the Xethan working together with the Wehrmacht. So we got that kind of vibe going on. We have the campaign sheet over here, the campaign. We got our mission phase, debriefing phase, HQ phase. Do we have anything? Where's the actual missions? Do we have actual missions here? Because we got assault mode, and then we got mission 1, counter-strike. So we got extinction mode. So all these modes over here. So technically this is just more rules, which I haven't started yet, but again, that might mean your 48 pages really jump by another 18 to like 56, 66, less the unnecessary page you don't have to actually count or read. But that's a decent amount of pages. And then you finally get to mission 1, Counter-Strike. Now, again, I haven't read the single shot stuff. I'm going to try to start with single shot. We have mission 2, Extraction. Mission 3, Data Mining. How many missions do we have? We got a mission Spec Op. Whoa, how many missions was there? We got 12. We have 12 before we get to Special Ops. 12B. And it sounds like a splitting campaign path. We have Spec Ops over here. Spec Ops 9, Spec Ops 13, 15. So we got a decent amount of missions to go through. So lots of variability. I don't know if the Special Ops are like the individual single shot missions. That's what I'm curious about. Special Ops. And again, I have to read some of the stuff to know. But we got mission 12B and then Spec Ops. So where do I go to Spec Ops? Where do I see more about them? We got mission phase, HQ phase, Special Ops rules. Okay, so we got Special Ops rules over here. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting. So it seems like it does seem like it's part of the actual sequence of the campaign, not the individual one-shots. But that's a brief, quick reading of it. I could be wrong. But I'll read through more of it. Again, I do plan on starting with one-shots before I invest into the campaign. But a campaign of 12B, so it's like 12 missions is not that bad. So I want to, again, this was a good game. This was a good game. I remember enjoying it a lot. I remember thinking it was a good stealth-based game. I know they've made tweaks based on feedback already. Do we do the miniatures or the extras first? We'll do the miniatures first. Because I got like 4 boxes full of extras to go through, and I don't really know the right order to do this all in, but we'll show you miniatures and characters and things like that, so you can get a sense of, I don't know, miniatures and characters and things like that. So we have your base record sheet over here for, I guess this is going to be permission to photocopy. Okay, so you can photocopy, print this out, all that stuff. This will give you tracking your campaign. I imagine that's what that's doing. And then we have our characters. So we have Oscar Vasquez, our squad member over here. Now these do have 2 different sides to them, depending whether you're playing it as the more, I think the more advanced side, I'm not sure. I think this is the more advanced side, this is the more basic side. I think, but I could be wrong. Is there a way it says that? Let's see. Science officer, available, exhausted. I don't know where it might say that. The main thing you're looking at is this ability over here, but I don't know if that's enough, or again, the distribution of the dice rolls. Either way, these are the two sides over here. We have in good hands. Whenever you heal an operative, give that operative 1 armor. Your attacks with the Xethan weapon gain a red die. Steady hand. Your AoE attacks gain a free reroll. Do not hit friendly figures. Kyle Moss, just too fast. You automatically disengage when moving. Commander Hicks, at the beginning of each operative phase, one other operative gains. Is that an action? I can't remember. Starting focus? I'm not sure. Billy Nomade squad member. In position, your Overwatch attacks deal +2 damage. And starting focus over there. And that's what we got there. Before we get to the escalation track, which is going to track how things are slowly progressing. And we have our gravity mod, which I have no idea what this is. Kazakh gravity mod. This is like a boss sheet. It looks like a boss sheet. These look like boss sheets. So we're going to go ahead and put those off to the side and see what we got for this, because it is time to dive into the miniatures. So we're going to have a lot of basic grunts. I'm not going to heavily go through all those. I'll show you what we got. I'll try to zoom in on the camera a drop, so give me a second over here. If we zoom in there, we can go drop closer and show you the various characters. So we got this as our sculpt over here. That's going to be like one of these. I'm going to show you a few of those because we got a few more of these to go through. So I'm going to show you these guys now. And these are the main characters. That's like Kyle Moss over here. There we go. Kyle. I think it's Kyle. It looks like Kyle. But then we got 2 of our characters over there. And then we got some more coming your way in a second. Before we get to all the... I guess we have 1 more, 2 more, 3 more? 3 more, I guess. We got 3 more over here. So the 6 characters, was that what there was? I didn't track it fully, but that sounds about right. So we have our sniper, our Overwatch. Was this Billy? I think this is Billy. Miniatures are okay. Detail on them looks decent. Not the best, not the worst. I've seen far better, and I've seen far, far worse. This over here, we got this guy. This is the med bay guy. The guy who gives you plus healing. The +1 die roll to healing or something like that, whatever the ability was. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and dive into our various enemies. I believe these are various enemies. So, I'm just going to show you various sculpts in no particular order, just the various baddies. So, these are the Xethans. That may or may not be how to pronounce them, but that's what their name looks like. And I don't know if they're both Xethans. These guys look like a little desperate to hurt you in different ways. We have some Overwatch snipers for the enemies. We got some machines coming our way too, some drones. And I remember there's like a whole security camera system you need to be mindful of. There's a lot of tests, lots of bypassing wires. Again, very stealth-based game system. What other stealth-based games were there? I feel like I'm blanking on a core stealth-based game. Not hidden movement, but stealth-based systems. There's V-Sabotage, V-Commandos. Rackbusters has it a little bit, I guess. And I'm not talking about general noise like Zombicide. I'm not talking about that. But Rackbusters had noise as well. So I'd say Rackbusters technically falls into that vein as far as the type of game it is. Where does this go? This go in here. Does that go there? There, that goes there. We have more. Oh. I need to check what's in these boxes because I think there's extra characters. Operative expansion. See, I just noticed that we have an entire row of this which has nothing in it. And that makes me think that this operative expansion is probably that thing. Hey, look, you can see the camera. You can see the overhead. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Hi, camera. Very reflective. Anyways, let's show you the last character before we do that, and then we'll go ahead and put some stuff into the, take a mid-miniature break for the operative expansion. We're not done with the miniatures either. We still got more coming. I've got some of the larger ones are coming soon, but we are going to take a break so we can do the operative expansion. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? Here's my knife. Anyways, what are we talking about? Rackbusters, stealth-based games. So I think that might be the one that I was forgetting. V-Commandos, Rackbusters, Assassin's Creed, Stalker, V-Sabotage with the same game, SAS Rogue Regiment. Anything else? This one, obviously. I don't know if there's anything else. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm missing any other stealth-based systems or games. So, we have our operative expansion, which I'm assuming goes into those spots there. This feels very heavy for something that's just, oh, there's cards. There's cards. Are there room for the cards? There's room for the miniatures. Are there room for the cards? We're going to have to figure this out in a second. This can possibly, I'm going to open this back up because I might, we're going to figure this out in a second. So, this comes off over here. We have our various characters that will be going into the bottom row of this, I assume. Yeah, there we go. The order is different, which I think is fun. I'm going to show you the miniatures first, then we'll figure out the various cards. But these are 6 new characters, 6 new operatives for your game. And we got, double swords person and double guns on the back person, which will go in that spot. I think it has to be that spot, right? Like, it has to be that spot. Is it? This feels like it's definitely that spot, but it looks, oh, there we go. Yep, it's that one. And then this one is going to be that one. Perfect. I'm going to do that. These two next, I think they're pretty distinguishable as far as the way their guns line out. So we got the two women over here with their guns ready to go. You know, sniper rifle on the back. So we got another Overwatch personality. And then whoever this person is with her regular pistol. Doesn't seem as intimidating, but you can do a lot with the pistol in life. You just need to know where to aim it and who to shoot at. And then we got two more guys over here. These guys over here. And there we go. That's what we got as far as these guys. Also, random thing. I just touched my toe to the table right there, and it really hurt. I smashed my toe against something the other day, and now when I touch it to anything, it kills. Like, really, really hurts. And it feels bad. And I probably didn't break it. That seems extreme, right? I'd know if I broke it, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'd know if I broke it, but I think I'd know if I broke it. This we're going to toss to the ground. We're going to see if the cards fit now. Because are there extra spots for the cards here? Nope. Are there extra spots? Ooh, there's more miniatures than I thought. We got a whole extra tray of miniatures. A surprise tray, which you don't even know about yet. But first, let me see if I can get these guys into here before I smash my toe again. Alright, so we got our tray over here. We got this over here. And then we got our card tray over here. So we have, technically we have room for cards here, maybe. I'm going to put those there for right now, because why not? Because we can. And then as far as these go, do these all fit in here? If we don't sleeve them, we should be good to go. That could be the rule. If we don't sleeve anything, if we don't sleeve anything, we're totally good to go. Honestly, this is a game that I might not bother to sleeve stuff because, well, first of all, to make it all fit properly in the insert. Although I'm not averse to throwing out an insert. I use plastic bags because they work. But if I don't want to throw out the insert, it does look like I have... Okay, this has to turn. This has to turn. It has to go like this. That's the card way. There we go. There's actually a way to put this on, by the way, just in case you have your own box. This specific section, which you can't see, but I guess if we do that, there's a little divot to the way this is structured so that they can hold the cards underneath. And that means this can now go back on top, and we can go back and continue dealing with these, because let's show you the characters that we have, the new characters we got for the game. Let's show you them. So, I need to play more games. I need to read more rules. It's post Gen Con for me. This video is being filmed like 2 weeks after Gen Con, maybe. And I've had a good Gen Con as far as the homework of the games I want to play, the catching up. I'm hoping this doesn't drip. The catching up of all the games that I've had to go through. Want to go through, but had to go through. And I've got to know a lot of new games played. But I still have so many new games to play. There is an overwhelming amount of new games to play. Overwhelming amount of games to play. Games in my personal collection, review games, games that I bought a while ago that I just want to table at some point. There's a lot of games. And I'll get to them all, eventually. Just slowly, but surely, I'll get to them all. Anyways, over here. You got Kane as our new soldier over here. We got Luna as our assassin, starting focus. Oh, we want the ability side. I want the ability side. Here we go. We have Victoria Usman, squad member. Whenever you target another operative, they gain that focus ability over there, the token. Mercy killing, your attacks gain red dice against enemies with negative conditions. Nice, taking them out. Mama Bear Moss, at the beginning of each refresh phase, gain a starting focus over there, gain a focus thing, whatever that token is. Tradecraft, while you have cover, add 1 and 1 to your checks. Bleed from me, enemies suffer an additional wound from bleed, regardless of how it is inflicted. Close encounters, you may use non-AoE ranged weapons against enemies in your zone, ignoring the weapon's value, target value, and deal +1 when doing so. So a little bit aggressive, very shotgun-esque. That's what we got for these guys, which means we're going to put this under more of our stacks of characters, and then go to the next level tray here, because we got some next level trays here. So this can go back on here like that, I want to say. Perfect. And this, we're going to have we got 2 more full trays to go through here. Although, lots of duplicates, so we won't be showing you everything. But let's show you these guys over here and see what we got for this box. So, these are some of our Wehrmacht kind of characters. Again, not the Wehrmacht, was it Wehrmacht? Was that the assassin, the terrorist group or whatnot? It's the SS kind of approach. But we got these guys over here. So, some more military units. And then we got these little drones. And that's what we got for this box. Just 4 or 5 sculpts I think it was 5 sculpts. Little military drone. They'll be wandering on the base trying to take you out. And then from there, we dive into the big box before we still have the final, not the big box, the big batch of miniatures in here. Before we still have our final situation to go through. Probably shouldn't say final situation. It's a little too close to other final things. Anyways, we got these guys over here and these guys over here. I'm trying to think how to show you all these, but again, more sculpts to go through, more enemies that will be enemy units that you'll have to deal with that will be wandering the hallways of whatever space station, I guess. I'm still not sure if it's a space station, but the whole Earth part. They talked about Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. I mean, we got this little cute drone. I like this guy, and this guy is less cute, but they're both solid sculpts with just very different vibes as far as how they're going to hurt you or make your life harder in different ways. We got those. I also I love the way they fit into the box over here. You can see them over here, the way they're like nestled together. That's a nice touch as well. And then we have this and this for these guys. Oh, let's do that one last and do this one over here. So we have, well, not last. We have the big guys for last. And then after that, we still have the extra packs of, like, I don't know, terrain, sculpted tokens, things like that. That guy just dropped. He's fine. He's totally fine. And then we got the last batches of people, which is this guy, before we get to the big ones. This is your very, very scary person. There's a few of them. There's 2 of them specifically, which implies there could be 2 of them on the board, which is scarier. And I'll do these 2 before I do the my favorite. These are the big ones. So we have 3 big ones to look at now. We got this big one over here. That's a big boy who's one of the boss thingies. So if you've seen the this chart sheet over here, that's this guy, I assume. There we go. And then on this side, we have this guy, which is going to be this guy. So you can see this guy over here. As far as his, again, weapons, his fed machine gun. Is that a machine gun? It's a chainsaw. It looks like a chainsaw. Almost looks like a fed chainsaw. But then lastly, these aren't the boss guys, but I do love the way they look, so I'm going to show you both of them. We have these. They're the exact same sculpt, but I just like the tentacles and the little Doc Ock-esque approach to them. So we're going to show you them and enjoy those. And that's what we got for this box over here, which means it's time to put this all back and to start the process of going through the last boxes of whatever it is I have. So, let's put this away down here. And let's put this away down here. And let's try to get all these guys into the box over here, because I wonder if they'll spread out enough. I don't know if they will. I don't love the way... Will this get 2 by 2? It won't. It won't. So the problem is they're going to slightly stack in a way that I don't love. But we'll put these down here and see if that's enough to... cause less issues, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this back on like so, put this into the center, and then put this back on like so, and then you have your box put back together the way it's supposed to be. I think there might be a specific orientation to the way this cover is supposed to be that I'm not following, but I think it's good enough. I think, probably, maybe. You got Earth Under Siege on each side at this point, so it works. It works. We're going to put this off to the side. We're going to go ahead and open up the extra boxes on the edge. Now, we have a terrain pack, we have Sculpted Tokens, and we have the campaign trays. So, I'm intrigued by the campaign trays. I don't know what those are offhand, but let's go ahead and check it out shortly and see what we got. So, the Sculpted Tokens, I assume these are just going to be, well, cooler tokens for the game. So, let's take a look what we got. We got these over here. That is... Sculpted Tokens. Okay, that is not what I expected when I said Sculpted Tokens. I guess these are, instead of various tokens you have in the game, they're replaced by miniatures, which is nice. Again, I should figure out where these all go, which is the problem, because I'm probably dishing the inserts in these games, because I cannot imagine keeping these side boxes. So the inserts for this game almost certainly being ditched. I'll just figure out the when and where, but for right now, this is going to go over there. And we got our terrain pack. That's where we actually have the terrain tokens. I thought those like, plastic tokens. They're sculpted tokens. They're replacing actual tokens to go on the board with full-on sculpts instead. And we have our terrain pack, which is going to have mostly doors. We have some portals and some machines. So we have our machine guns, I guess, or our turrets that you put up over here. We have our general portals, very Stargate-ish. And then we finally have doors. I don't know if there's a difference between these two. I think that there's just more. I'm trying to think if there's a difference between these 2 packs over here, but I don't know if there is. But we have our doors over here, which are going to slide in like that. Is that how it works? I guess that's not the worst. Okay, that works. So, we have basically, you have 2 different pieces over here, and your door just slides in to illustrate open and close. So you can have a door in there, and you can pull it out. You can leave it half open, I guess, if you want. Although I imagine pulling it out is just the easier way to go as you're playing. Are there any other sculpts for these? Yeah, they do have different sculpts going on. So they do have a few sculpts for these doors. I don't know if there's a difference gameplay-wise between them. I hope not, because that kind of thing would be annoying quickly. Let's see if we can find a door in here, and then a door that takes the door. So again, we have a different door this time, but, I think it's different. Yeah, different door. You can see the different designs over here on the doors. but they're different as far as the even the paneling on the outside is different. So they do have different designs. Don't know how many different designs, but they do have different designs going on here. I don't know if it's just one bag full of one bag full of the other. I don't know if it's meant to be more heavier drawers, but I hope not, because that would not be visually obvious at a glance. But if they are, then they are, and we'll deal with it. I'll have to paint them or something like that. I keep saying I'll paint, and one day I will paint, but I don't know when that one day will happen. Anyways, that's our terrain pack, which means the last thing we have to go over before we're done with this is going to be our campaign trays. So, campaign trays over here. This looks very light, which means I imagine this is just tracking things for you as you play, so it's easier to follow the progress, which means from all the stuff that I do or don't keep, this might be the inserts that I do keep, but I have to take a look at what's in here exactly first, because I don't think I'm going to keep inserts from the rest of the game. Yeah, you see, look at this over here. So we have our campaign trays tracking each character, storing like their stuff as you go, and then having a more detailed look for this as well. But again, I'm not going to heavily focus on this right now, because I'm going to have to figure out exactly how this is meant to work, because I'm going to go ahead and put it all back together, figure out what goes where, because anything that doesn't add value to the way it's all stored is just going to be tossed. So I need, this is too much, this is too many boxes. There's too many boxes. I need to consolidate it. They might have their own things on the crowdfunding page, on the Kickstarter page. They might have their own stuff going on there. We'll take a look and see. But for right now, this is basically an unboxing of Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. This is what I'm excited to dive into. It's a game that I played a while ago. I enjoy the gameplay. I like the fact that the campaign is only 12 missions long, or it seems 12 missions long. But the Spec Ops, I don't know how they fit into that arc there. But even with that, like, max would be 27, which is still manageable compared to really, really long ones. So we'll see how that goes. I like the fact that there's single-shot missions as well, and I am looking forward to diving into this one because I remember the gameplay being very rewarding, and now I just need to sit down and go through 50 pages of rules to get back to playing it again. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and as always, I hope you have a good one. And we're back. That was the shortest end to a video I've ever done, because I looked down to my left as soon as I was done filming, and I realized I hadn't done the Earth Under Siege Worldkiller Expansion at all. I put this on the floor at the beginning of the video, and then forgot it existed. Because the box, I remember there were 2 boxes, but because this box is a double box, mentally I thought I had done 2 boxes. So we're back with more stuff. Okay. So, we're going to dive into the Worldkiller Expansion and see what's in this box over here. We're a little too zoomed in right now, so I'm going to have to zoom out in a second. But we got our campaign book, you know. Here, let's go ahead and zoom out right now so you can see all this. So, we're going to zoom out a drop over here. We're going to zoom back in shortly, I assume, because there'll be miniatures again, I assume. We have, yep, we got some miniatures over here, some Worldkiller stuff over here. We got the new rules, level 4 upgrades. Ooh, level 4 stuff. Outdoor areas. So we got new things going on over here. But again, we got a car. It looks like there's a truck moving around. And we have mission 13, mission 14. Oh, this is continues. Mission 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, and Spec Ops. So we got some Spec Ops as well. So mission goes to 20, it looks like. And then we go from Spec Ops 26, 27, 28, and 29, and 30. So we got a bunch of more stuff for the game in there. We're going to have our token trays. We're going to have our Worldkiller boss over here. Is this a double-sided one? We have a seer and the Worldkiller box over there. And then we got our various token trays, which includes that truck you just saw moving around, which is that, like, what is this? Like, what? It looks like a hearse, but like, is it a truck? Is it a, I don't know what it is, but we're going to take a look and see at all the stuff soon. We have our new these, and then new miniatures. So let's dive into this all shortly, but let's take this out. Is this taped on or just very, very hard on? It's very, very hard on. So let's go through this all in a second and see what we got. We got more cards, which we're going to start with, because why not? Get those out of the way. See what new types of weapons you get in the expansion over here. I'm going to put those back over there, I think. All right, we have our Xethan killer. Let's zoom back in again. We can zoom all the way in for those. You have a Xethan Killer Heavy Sniper Rifle, our Rhino Portable Rocket Launcher, our Leviathan Armor. You have immune to negative conditions. Enemies always target you with attacks, though, which could be a good thing, because you're immune to the bad stuff, and you get targeted just as long as people heal you. Crisis Armor, Wraith Network Suit, Vindicator Minigun, Cobra Tactical Rifle, Medal of Freedom. So these look like a lot of fun things. World Ender Heavy Railgun, that seems pretty intense. The Phase Glaive. Use when attack to deal +1 damage and ignore enemy defense abilities. That's strong. Heavy Fusion Armor. Your melee attacks deal +1. So a lot of fun little things over here that we're going to toss into the box top over here. I think that's where they go. We're going to take a look briefly at our new enemy units that are heading our way. We have our Thought Reaper. That doesn't sound polite or enticing at all. We have our Assault Drone, our Berserker, and our Awakened. Those will be your new basic enemy cards, which again, I think go over there. I'm trying to see how this all fits. It probably does not go there. It probably goes over here. That's probably where it goes. But then these cards underneath it. Okay, I got it now. I got it. We figured it out. Snips and snaps. We figured it out. I'm going to try not to damage any cards this time around with my knife, because that happened last time. We have more of these, well, more action cards. Living Legend, discard 3 Valor, recover them any action tokens. You may use movement tokens to perform orders and vice versa. We have Fought Fire with Fire. Play before making an attack with a Xethan weapon. Add X to the result, where X equals half the weapon's discovery value. So some of these things I have no idea what they do, but each operative heals 1 and gains 1 armor for each armor token on the dashboard. And these will go into this tray over here. And then these will go on top of there now that they're supported, or supported-ish. And then we can go ahead and look through what's in here, because it's right on top of everything else before we get to the miniatures. So there's not a ton to go through here. It's more missions, more options, more tiles. So we have our tiles over here, which we should probably zoom out a drop for. Let's zoom a bit out. There we go. Okay. So we have the tiles over here. And we're gonna go through all of them double-sided. So you know what, let's probably push it over. No, it's not going to be for both. So we have this and our little lab over here. Looks like Doc Ock again. We have just a general tile, a bunch of terrain areas over here, another lab, and then we can flip and start going on the other side. So we got our barbed wire, our general. Oh, these are outside areas. So we have outside areas now for the first time. That's what the rules. We're giving you new rules for outside areas. We have our trucks over here. That's the car that's gonna be moving around on some missions. That's the map is gonna be moving along on. That's another map that's gonna be moving along. And I'm guessing we have a third map that is moving along on. So these are gonna be your new terrain tiles. No small tiles. They just have only large tiles for these new boards over here. But we do have some large enemies and some small enemies. Let's just show you all the enemies, and then we'll finally be actually done with this. So we have these guys over here. This guy looks very much like the big guy from, is it Vindication? Is that what it looks like? The big guy holding his fists in the air? Has that vibe. If you've played Vindication, or if you have the Vindication miniature. We have those for the small guys. We have 2 more small guys, and then some medium and a very large guy. So we got, this guy looks pretty intimidating, honestly. The way he's like, look at his face and like the background. He looks like he's looking into like nothingness, which is always scary. You don't want people looking into nothingness, because they've seen the void, they've seen the darkness, and they're staring right back out at you, which is not pleasant. We have these guys, 2 of these little drones over here that are going to take you out in one way or another. Decent sculpts over here. And then we have the main guy, the main star of the show, like really the star of the show. Like compared to everything else, this guy is straight up the star of the show as far as his sheer size and scale. And I don't even know how he works on a map. Is he on outdoor areas only? Because it feels like he won't fit on indoor areas. Like he can't get into the building. You just want to retreat into the building and take pot shots at him and hope that his blasters don't really blast down the doors or the walls or anything along the way. That's what we have. That is your, what was it, Worldkiller Expansion? Was that what it was called? I think that's what it was called. Let me go check the name again. It was the Worldkiller Expansion for Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. Although again, this will make it once we get rid of the unnecessary trays, this will make it easier to store everything, although I have to figure out, I'm going to figure out what their recommendations are first before I get too crazy. Anyways, for the second time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and as always, I hope you have a good one.